to Fearless in Faith. I'm your host, Esther, and today we have an incredible conversation lined up. When we think of bravery, we often picture those who run toward danger instead of away from it. But true courage isn't just about physical strength, it's about faith, trust, and perseverance in the face of uncertainty. Our guest today knows this firsthand. Jake Lopez is a firefighter and community leader who has faced high-pressure situations daily. Through it all, he has learned to rely on God in moments of crisis, standing fearless in the fire, both literally and spiritually. Jake, welcome to Fearless in Faith.
Thank you, Esther. I'm honored to be here. Faith has been my anchor through every challenge, and I'm excited to share what God has taught me along the way.
Before we dive into your story, tell us a little bit about your background. What led you to become a firefighter?
I always had a desire to serve others, but firefighting wasn't originally on my radar. It wasn't until a personal tragedy struck that I truly understood the calling. I lost a close friend in a fire, and that moment changed everything for me. I felt God calling me to step into this role, not just to fight fires, but to be a source of hope for people in crisis.
Jake, most people see firefighters as fearless heroes, but I know your story is much deeper than that. Can you take us back to a moment in your life when you truly had to rely on your faith in the middle of the fire, physically or spiritually?
Absolutely. There's one night I'll never forget, one that changed my life forever. It started like any other shift. My team and I were at the firehouse when we got an emergency call, a house fire with people trapped inside. That's every firefighter's worst case scenario. We rushed to the scene, and when we arrived, flames were already engulfing most of the house. Thick, black smoke filled the air, and the heat was intense. The family had managed to escape, but the mother was screaming, "My daughter is still inside." Those words hit me like a punch to the gut. I locked eyes with my captain, and before I knew it, I was running into the flames. Inside, it was pure chaos. The smoke was suffocating, and visibility was near zero. My breathing was heavy, my heart racing, but I had one thought: find that little girl. I searched room after room until I finally heard faint crying. I followed the sound and found her curled up in a corner, terrified. She was maybe 4 or 5 years old. I picked her up and reassured her. "I've got you. We're going home." But as I turned to get out, the worst happened. The ceiling collapsed behind us, blocking our way out. The fire was closing in. I felt a rush of panic. This is it. We're trapped. I had faced dangerous situations before, but this was different. This time, a little life was in my hands. I had no clear escape, and the heat was unbearable. Fear tried to take over, and then I prayed. Not some long, elegant prayer, just a desperate, "God, help me. Show me a way." At that moment, something unexplainable happened. It was like clarity hit me. Through the thick smoke, I saw a faint light coming from a small window. It wasn't a normal exit, but it was our only shot. I held the little girl close and ran toward it. I punched through the glass with my elbow, pulled my jacket over her to shield her from the shards, and climbed out, carrying her with me. Just as we hit the ground outside, the house gave way, and the roof caved in completely. If we had waited a second longer, we wouldn't have made it. As soon as we were out, the little girl clung to me, sobbing. Her mother ran over, collapsing in relief, hugging her daughter. I stood there, completely overwhelmed, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt, that was God. He had made a way when there was no way. I dropped to my knees right there in my fire gear, exhausted but in awe. I had seen the impossible. God wasn't just watching over me, He was with me in the fire. That night changed me. It taught me that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about trusting God in the middle of the fear. It reminded me that faith is most real when we have nothing left but God Himself. I've faced many fires since then, but I've never doubted this truth. No matter what flames we walk through in life, we are never alone. God is always in the fire with us.
Wow, Jake, that gave me chills. You literally walked through the fire and God made a way. What did that experience teach you about fear and faith?
It taught me that fear is real, but it doesn't have to control us. There was every reason for me to panic in that moment, but faith gave me clarity. Fear whispers, "You won't make it." But faith says, "God is here and He will lead you through."
That's such a powerful truth. And it's not just firefighters who face fires. Many of our listeners are in the middle of their own personal fires right now. Maybe it's a health crisis, financial struggles, or a season of uncertainty. What advice would you give them?
First, don't try to handle it alone. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking we have to be strong on our own. I've learned that strength doesn't come from me, it comes from God. Second, pray boldly. I didn't pray a fancy prayer in that burning house. I simply said, God, help me. And that was enough. He hears us, even in the middle of chaos. And finally, keep walking. The fire may be raging, but God will lead you step by step. You don't have to see the whole way out. Just trust Him with the next step.
Jake, this has been an incredible conversation. Before we wrap up, what final encouragement would you give to someone listening right now who feels like they're trapped in the fire and don't see a way out?
I tell them this: God is in the fire with you. Just like in Daniel 3, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the flames, they weren't alone. There was a fourth person in the fire, God Himself, and He's with you now. You may feel like the flames are too much, but you won't be burned. Keep trusting, keep praying, and keep walking forward. The fire isn't the end. Your testimony is just beginning.
Jake, thank you for sharing your heart, your story, and your wisdom with us today. That's it for today's episode of Fearless in Faith. If this conversation blessed you, share it with a friend and follow us for more faith-filled stories. And remember, no matter what fire you're facing, God is with you, and with Him, you can be fearless. See you in the next episode.